This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
CES is the largest electronics trade show in the world. Everybody's been saying that for years. You probably already know that, but until I walked in there, I had no idea exactly how big it was. And I'm here this year, 2020, looking for anything and everything that I can draw on. If it has a pen, I want to use it until I'm politely told by security that I have to leave. I kicked off my CES experience by grabbing breakfast with a friend, then we headed up to the Las Vegas Convention Center. CES is spread out across 3 locations all around the Vegas Strip. The Convention Center location is the largest of the 3. I met with LG, who showed me their new Gram 2-in-1 laptop and also some of their monitors that are aimed at creative professionals. I was really excited to get my hands on the Gram. It comes with a touchscreen and a pen, and that pen uses Wacom's AES, so it has a ton of potential to be your primary computer and also your primary drawing tool. They didn't have any art apps loaded up on the laptop, so I had to sketch in the Notes app. I couldn't get a good feel for the pen using that, but I'm hoping to get one of the newer versions of the Gram in for testing sometime this year. Also, it is called the Gram for a reason. These laptops are crazy light. The Gram felt about as light as my iPad. It would be super easy to just close it up and carry it around without having to shove it into a bag. I also want to talk about their new monitors. They're catered towards creative professionals. My footage here didn't turn out so great, so you guys get screenshots for the next couple seconds. The monitors are big, they're beautiful. The ultra-wide 38 is hard to miss. This is my first time sitting in front of a curved screen. I really like it. There's also the 32-inch ultra-fine display. They are focusing on 2 things with this monitor: color accuracy and ergonomics. The ergonomics come from the stand where you can rotate it and do a lot of different things with it, and when I was moving it around, it felt really light. I'm not sure if that's because the monitor itself is really light or they've just balanced the stand in such a way that it's easy to move it up and down and feels really light. I got to check out Samsung's latest laptops and tablets. They've updated the whole Galaxy Book line. There's their Galaxy Book Ion laptop, the Galaxy Book S, and their 2-in-1, the Galaxy Book Flex. That's the one I focused on because, well, pen. This is a 2-in-1 that folds back and becomes a tablet, and also the pen itself is tucked inside of the computer, similar to how the Samsung Note phones work. This was the first 2-in-1 I used at the show that had an art app installed on it. Thank you, Autodesk Sketchbook. With the pen and the screen, this is fantastic. Definitely the highlight of the Samsung booth for me, a booth that might have been the most crowded space I have ever been in my entire life. I should also talk about the Galaxy Chromebook here, which is by far the prettiest Chromebook I've ever seen. And honestly, it's the same aesthetic across the whole line. Visually, it's gorgeous. Colored aluminum finish. I really like the look of these. And I've never seen a Chromebook feeling this premium. This is also one of those rare Chromebooks that comes with a pen. Like Samsung's other laptops, it's using Wacom's AES. I've only ever used one Chromebook, and that's Google's Slate, and I wasn't too impressed with it. On paper, it's cool because you can run any Android app on a Chromebook. But from what I've seen before, it was just laggy to run those apps, and the pen was horrible. But in this case, the app seemed just fine, and the pen was great. I only used it for a little bit. I want to see if Samsung has been able to solve some of those issues. I poked around, and it did have Infinite Painter installed on it, and I got a good amount of hands-on time there. People kept stopping by trying to guess what I was drawing. Nobody got it right, which hurt my feelings, but I'm not talking about that here. Not in this video. It's not about my feelings. It's about the Chromebook, and honestly, this is the first Chromebook that feels like a legitimate art tool. On the Android side of things, Samsung wasn't showing off anything super new here. They had the Galaxy Tab S6 5G edition here. It's really identical to last year's excellent Tab S6, the only difference being that they've added 5G to the tablet now. Appliances, litter boxes, pots that have what I hope is steam coming out of them. As a side note here, you hear all about 8K AMOLED, smart AI-enabled foldable screens, but until you see these new TVs in person, you can't possibly understand how beautiful they are in real life. Huawei had a big space on the show floor for their phones and a small place for their Android tablets, and that's where I went, and I kind of had it to myself. The MediaPad S6 is their latest Android tablet that is pen-enabled. Like many many things I tried out, I didn't have any drawing software to use, so I had to make do with the Notes app. I wasn't that impressed with the pen here. It really left a bad taste in my mouth. It's really hard to tell if that's the software I was using or if that was the pen. This is something that I'm going to have to see if I can get later this year. If you can even get Huawei products in the US, I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm going to have to do some research into that and keep my eye on it. It was time for me to leave the glitz and glam and noise of that central hall behind and head for the South Hall.
This is my favorite place. This is the quietest place that I've found in the convention center, at least when you're not about to get hit by a golf cart. I'm okay, by the way.
The South Hall holds all the smaller niche electronic brands like John Deere? The highlight of the South Hall for me, by far, was a section I like to call Awesome Japanese Robot Land. It's this short stretch dedicated to, what else? Fancy Japanese robots. I think we need a quick montage. The Americans tried to join in on the robot fun, but they, it wasn't, I wouldn't call it cute.
I am learning all day long. For example, I am learning right now.
A lot of these companies are looking to stand out from the pack, drive people into their booths. If you're looking to do that with your website, check out today's sponsor, Squarespace. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is an all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence to run your business. You can see where web traffic is coming from and what keywords are working best with the built-in tools. Squarespace takes the guesswork out of search engine optimization for your website, which means you'll get found in search by more people more often. Check out squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/BradColbo to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. I found a place that is a lot less crowded. It's a lot easier to navigate here. This is where a lot of the smaller brands are located, and I am looking for Huion.
I made my way over to Huion's booth and I found my people. It was fun. We had a couple drawing sessions. I was able to try out the new Canvas 13, which feels very similar to last year's Canvas Pro 13, which is a good thing. It's a laminated screen. We got a good pen, great pressure. In some ways, it feels like these products have matured to a point where you can't really do much more to like massively upgrade the quality with also getting a much larger price tag attached to it. Instead, what Huion's doing with this generation is starting to play with the design a little bit. You can tell this one is an olive green. Actually, you can't really tell on camera here because it's more underneath, but it's also available in purple and black. They also had the HS611 graphic tablet displayed here. This one, as you can see, is an intense coral color. They have even more color options available. It looks way better in person. The camera itself kind of blows out that color a bit, but you can go with a color that's a little more conventional if that's your speed. One morning, I got to tour the Lenovo booth. I was pleasantly surprised. They had a whole line of laptops and computers catered towards creative professionals. This started last year with the Yoga A940, which is a cool all-in-one with adjustable screen and pen capabilities, very similar to, say, something like the Surface Studio. Now Lenovo is adding on to that creative line with laptops and monitors. One cool feature I would love to see other manufacturers borrow is building conductive charging into their devices like Lenovo has been doing with their monitors. There were two things at the Lenovo booth that really intrigued me. The first was their foldable PC. That intrigued everybody. That was the ThinkPad X1. It has a pen and also a little keyboard that magnetically attaches to the screen so you can turn it into a laptop form factor and use it that way if you want. Now this is some first gen foldable stuff, so it's a little thick, especially once it's folded up. But what I like here is the potential. As they iterate on it and get the kinks worked out, I can see this form factor really having some appeal as a mobile sketchbook that could also be your main computer. I have a lot of thoughts and a lot to say on this because I learned a lot from the Lenovo rep of how they were handling the UX and durability and all that sort of stuff. So look forward to a future video on this category, probably in the next couple of weeks. The other device that isn't really an art tool but is worth mentioning here because it has a pen is the Thinkbook Plus. What they did is they added a second screen to this laptop, but instead of adding it where the keyboard usually goes, they added it to the lid of the laptop, and it's an e-ink screen, which means it can always be on, I'm doing air quotes, but you can't see me right now, without killing your battery. And you can use that screen with OneNote. It also displays notifications like your phone screen would, things like that. And if you're thinking, hey, I could see myself using this as something to draw on, one thing to know is that the inside screen is not pen enabled, just that outside e-ink screen. CES is huge, it's impossible to see everything, but some things were behind closed doors. I didn't get the chance to meet with the folks over at Wacom. They introduced their Wacom One, which is their 13-inch entry-level tablet display. The main reason I turned down a meeting with them is because I knew that they were shipping me one and had already given me the press info, so it really wasn't worth just reiterating that stuff since I'm going to get my hands on the actual real product to test tomorrow. But they're doing something similar to what they did with the Cintiq 16 last year, which is take out some of those high-end features so they can get the price down. There were some other cool things I didn't have the chance to see because they were behind closed doors and I didn't have any contacts to get in there, at least not yet. Acer was showing some really cool stuff for creative professionals. Asus is showing some really cool stuff for creative professionals. If anybody knows anybody over there that can link me up, that would be great. I think they'd love the opportunity to show some of their stuff off here on this channel. So that's my recap of CES. I wish I could have seen everything. It was just so big. If you have any comments or questions, let me know down below in the comments section. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in a couple of days.